Most sexual harassment training doesn't really prepare people for real situations. It just helps people pass the quiz. And in the world of corporate training, and most definitely compliance training, I want to test something different. And I want to use AI to do that differently. So I want you to follow along with this journey. With corporate training, there's three particular things that really don't work. Traditional training doesn't change people's behaviour. Most people, in all honesty, probably click through to the quiz at the end and then hope that they get that right, just to tick the box and move on. Managers and employees, they panic in real situations. People either freeze, they worry that they're going to say the wrong thing and so therefore don't say anything. And actually, managers typically avoid dealing with it. So, can AI change our approach towards corporate training? Because let's face it, the law is changing on sexual harassment, and has the training caught up with it? So instead of a course, let's see what AI can do for us. I'm going to go and visit Claude to see whether Claude can give me a prompt to use so that I can then build an app or something in Google Studio. It's just an experiment. Let's see whether it works. Now, I've given it a simple prompt just for the purposes of testing. We might want to do something different, but I've said your task today is to help me create something much better than a traditional training course. And I want to use Google AI Studio to develop some sort of app. But before I actually give it its task, I want it to go and understand sexual harassment in the UK currently and to look at what's coming up in terms of the change in legislation. So it's going off, it's going to be researching the current landscape, and we'll be back in 2 ticks. Okay, so you can see here that it's done its research. It's given a summary of the UK sexual harassment landscape currently, and it's going to use that to genuinely inform a prompt for Google AI Studio. Now, bearing in mind, this is test conditions. So as always, I would always check the accuracy of this research data that it's given. But for the purposes of today, we're not going to do that. It's now going to be asking me some questions, which I haven't prompted it to do that. Claude is just brilliant at doing that. It's saying, who's the audience? Now, for this particular app, what I want it to do is to give me a demo of what employees would see, but also what managers would see. So I want to say it's mixed for all levels. What kind of better than training experience am I imagining? I'm probably thinking it is some sort of interactive scenario. I don't think I want it to ask questions and get tailored guidance. I'm not really sure. At the moment, I don't want a risk assessment tool, but it's a really great idea and something that we can have a look at building in the future. Or do I want something for the purposes of this demo that is a combination? Let's just go for it, shall we? Just hit the combination of all. So, what sector or industry context should it reflect? This is a really good point as well, because if you're building something out with the touch of a button and a few different prompts, you can have slightly different versions based on your particular organisation and the makeup here. So I'm going to say sector neutral, I think, because we want it adaptable. So let's see what it comes up with. I've not given it any further instructions. And of course, Claude is agreeing with me that it's a great choice, but let's see. Now, remember, for the purposes of this demo, I am not checking through anything currently. I'm just going to cut and paste it into Google AI Studio and see what it does. If we were building this live in a live environment for a client, then we'd be very prescriptive and we'd ensure that everything is signed off. One thing that I didn't tell it to do, that in the test environment, I want to be able to log in as either a manager or an employee. So that is something that we'll probably do in a moment. Okay, so you can see here that it's given a complete prompt. Let's have a look to see what it has said. So it's saying, who am I? what its knowledge base is. Again, we would check that. And you can see that there's further changes that it has incorporated. Again, we would check to make sure that the legislation is the legislation that we want it to be. And then it's come up with 3 different modes. There's a scenario simulator, asking the user about their role, which means that, again, it should be able to split it up. And then it's given different themes to explore. It's given all of the design principles. It's then saying, okay, I've created an AI advisor which can ask questions, which would be great, especially if it was trained in your particular policies and your processes. Then the third piece is the risk assessment tool as well. Now, again, you might have your own processes. What I would probably do if this was a real life situation is upload a copy of your own processes in as well. But for the purposes of what we're doing, you can see it's given quite a comprehensive prompt here. So let's copy all of that and let's head over to Google Studios. And what we're going to do is just literally cut and paste. Hit return, or in this case, click on build, and let's see what it gives us. It's going to take a few minutes, so I'll be back in a few. What I particularly love about Google AI Studio is on the left-hand side here, you can see what it is that it's actually doing. Now, bearing in mind, this is just a very simple test to see whether or not it can do anything. I have not changed any of the settings here. I have not clicked on anything else. I've just literally pasted the prompt in from Claude. It's as simple as that. Now you can see here that it's starting to finalise detail and it's been working for a couple of minutes. And something that I never told it exactly what it was that I wanted. So if you've got something in particular in your head that you're thinking, this would work really well, or you wanted to focus on one particular element itself and really tunnel into that before you build, for example, you might want to focus on the simulation element of it and really delve into the custom instructions that we've given it there before you move on to the AI element. So you can see here it has built our UK Sexual Harassment Prevention Interactive Advisor. Build real understanding, not just tick box compliance. Let's try it, shall we? Let's say our role is that of a manager. What sector are we in? We can say we're in construction. Which mode do we want to begin with? Let's go to the scenario and let's see what it's built for us here. So there you go. Welcome to the scenario. As a manager in construction, you deal with high pressure environments. Here's the scenario, the site inspection. Chloe comes into the office, she shuts the door, she's uncomfortable. She's talking about some subbies, making comments about her, etc. As her manager, how would you respond? Now, given that these are generic responses, again, if you were to build in your own processes into this, that's where it really starts to become valuable. So how do you respond? So I'm just going to pick one. The behaviour is completely unacceptable. There you go. So it's given you an excellent choice. Ready for the next step. So it starts talking about the different. So you can see here, it has started to build up scenarios. I don't know how many scenarios there are. Let's see whether we can go back a bit. But again, we've got another scenario and it's given us some consequences, etc. But you get the idea here that rather than just telling people what sexual harassment is, we've jumped straight into the scenarios. Now, if we were to go back again, and let's look at us being an employee in healthcare, we're going to ask some questions because as an employee, we're not quite sure. Now, again, it might focus specifically here on all of the legal elements. We might want to switch this up so that when an employee is asking something quite valid and giving them this next step that they need to take, given their situation, which may include EAP, referral, whatever your process is, whistleblowing, etc., here. So you can see here, I'm Safe Space, your AI advisor on harassment, How do I feel about us having an AI advisor on harassment? Again, I'd always test the scenarios before releasing it out to anyone, but you get the idea of the possibilities here. So let's go back now and say that we're HR. No, actually, we're going to be a senior leader this time. We are in office and we want that risk assessment to be done. Do we have a standalone policy? No specific. Informal. I'm just going to click through here because I just want to see exactly what the output is. So you can see here, nothing is compliant. 3 things need action and 2 are high risk. It's giving us red, amber, green alerts, and it's given us priority recommendations. So for us, would I release all of this to all employees? No. Would I maybe consider a version of this? Yes. But you can see here where AI has the potential to work for you and your organisation. So how have I found it? If this is something that can be done in 15 minutes, then actually imagine what you could do in your organisation, given the right tools and the right training. What I'm going to do is leave a link in the description to this tool so that you can test it out yourself. Hope you found this video useful. Have a great day. I'll see you soon.